What's up, YouTube? It's the Console Samurai. And there's some very interesting news coming out of the UK in the last couple days. A group of people, school administrators, primary and secondary school, are trying to get a law enacted that will allow them to report parents of um, minors, basically. People under the age of 18, not necessarily kids, because I don't really consider a 17-year-old a kid, but anyone under the age of 18 who's playing a game that's rated 18 and over. These teachers and the school board and everybody would be able to report the parents to the Department of Child Welfare or whatever the equivalent is over in the UK, in whatever area. And I understand the argument, and it does kind of make sense that you want to protect the kids, but I'm kind of two minds about it, and I do think both sides have a valid argument. As I said, I do see the value in protecting the children because you don't necessarily want a very small child to be able to see a fatality in all its 1080p glory that's going to be Mortal Kombat 10. A small child doesn't need to see that. A small child doesn't need to play Destiny or play Call of Duty or play Grand Theft Auto. These things there, if the child is not taught to process them correctly, it could be detrimental, very detrimental to the child. So I understand the idea of wanting to protect the kids. That makes perfect sense to me. The issue I have with this is that by doing this, you're actually taking the authority to make these judgment calls about whether a person's kid can handle this, whether this particular 10, 11, 12-year-old can handle Mortal Kombat or Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty or Destiny or any of these games that actually are violent. That, normally we would say a child shouldn't be playing, but some kids, we all know, some kids are absolutely able to handle it. Some adults are not. Some kids are. But by allowing this to become a law, you're going to take that power away from the parents. The parents aren't going to be able to sit there and go, well, my child is 16, but my child actually can handle the themes and subjects and visuals and graphics and all that fun stuff in this 18 and over game. My kid is not going to have an issue with seeing a fatality in Mortal Kombat because my kid can handle it. And you're going to take that power away from the parents. And I think that is a serious disservice to the parents. The other issue I have with this is that by allowing this, we're going to legitimize the argument that video games are dangerous, that video games do breed violence. There's no other way to see it, really. Because if we buckle and we go, well, you're right, we should protect the children from this. Well, what are we protecting the children from? You can't protect children from something unless it's dangerous. And video games are not dangerous. The argument we've seen 1,000 times, at least on this side of the Atlantic, we have seen this 1,000 times, where some asshole politician says, well, video games create violence. And it doesn't matter how many times he has been proven to be talking out of his own ass. It's not true. Video games do not create violence. And not only is that blatantly incorrect to think that video games are the cause of violence, it is incredibly dangerous to assume that video games create violence, because then the kids who don't play video games, you're gonna assume that the lack of video games equals safety, and that's not the way it is. Some kids can't handle video games. Some adults can't handle video games. Some kids can handle incredibly violent video games, incredibly violent movies, books, the news, whatever. It doesn't matter. When I was much younger, my parents tried to protect me from seeing all of this violence and all that stuff. But the times I did see it, they sat me down and they explained to me what I was seeing. They helped me learn how to process things correctly. And that, I think, is a much better way to address this, rather than go, well, no, you're under the age of 18, you can't see this under any circumstances. No child can see this. Because I think that, a kid watching their parents play a violent game or watch a violent movie, as long as the parents explain what they're seeing and why, this is fantasy. Nobody really got hurt. But in the real world, we wouldn't do this because there are consequences, and the consequences are X, Y, and Z. And you don't do that because it's wrong, or this is what happens, or whatever. That is the way it should be handled, in my opinion. But tell me what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that this group of people who want to start this set of rules that allow the Department of Child Welfare, or whatever the equivalent is in the UK, to come in, do you think that's going to help matters? Do you think it's going to make things worse? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Once again, I am the Console Samurai, and I'll see you around.